What's up, everyone? Welcome to the State Phillies Sports History for March 11th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Monday edition of the podcast. I apologize if the sound's a little off. My voice is really going. I was up all night with a sore throat. So I do apologize, but let's start, as always, with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, where does Brandon Graham rank among the Eagles' all-time greats? And I think it was pretty much consensus that he is one of the best. There was some debate whether he's top 10 or top 15. I certainly could see the argument either way. But Brandon Graham, one of the greatest, coming back for his 15th season. And might as well stick with the Eagles because Fletcher Cox actually did officially announce his retirement. Wrote a nice little letter to Philadelphia fans, thanking teammates, coaches, people that he's played with, worked for over the years. And the fact that he was here 12 years, and it's like blows my mind that these guys, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, were guys that were drafted by Andy Reid. It just seems like Andy Reid was here so long ago. But Fletcher, 70 sacks, number 5 on the Eagles' all-time list for sacks, 16 forced fumbles, 14 fumble recoveries, 3 touchdowns. He's a 4-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler. He's on the NFL's 2010s All-Decade team. And honestly, speaking of one of the greatest to ever do it, big disruptor. Definitely going to be missed for next year, but I saw a lot of things like the passing of the torch to Jordan Davis. So hopefully Jordan Davis, there's a big shoes to fill. Hopefully he's able to do that. But shout out to you, Fletch. Thank you for 12 great years, winning the Super Bowl. And it's kind of like, to me, this is reminiscent of when all of the 2008 Phils started to retire. These Super Bowl guys are starting to retire now that have been here for a long time, but we had a nice little run with them. And again, hopefully the passing of the torch. But Fletcher, thank you. I appreciate all you've done. And that leads to the question of the day. And not going to talk so much about his legacy with the Eagles because I think Fletcher Cox is right up there with the all-time greats. But where is he a Hall of Famer? And I know that he was one of the most dominant guys in the league for years. So is Fletcher Cox a Hall of Famer? 267-495-8531 get you in. Will we be seeing him and Jason Kelce and Canton being inducted at the same time? That'd be pretty cool. Let me know. 267-495-8531 get you in. All right, and happy Legal Tampering Day. It is Legal Tampering Day. Haven't heard anything as far as substantiated rumors from the Eagles. I guess the big news was waking up to Russell Wilson going to the Steelers. But we should have some things leak over the next 24 hours, so we'll have more of an update on that. But it's Howie season, man. Time for Howie to get cooking. And hopefully be able to build another team the way we were a couple years ago. But this is usually when Howie does his thing. So let the man cook. And we'll see lots of rumors. Nothing specific, though. So hopefully we'll have some clarity tomorrow on what's going on. All right. I know if you've been following, there's this whole movement. We're done with the 90s and talking about the NBA and Michael Jordan and those guys. Well, the Sixers and Knicks yesterday decided to take it back to the 90s. 79-73, the Sixers won. And no, that is not a misprint. That is not a third quarter score. That was the final score. It was 37-31 at halftime. Just no shots were falling. Just an ugly, ugly first half. But the Sixers played some gritty defense. Were able to hold on. Kelly Oubre had 18 and 10. Buddy Hield had 16 off the bench. And, the Knicks are ahead of them in the standings. So right now the Sixers are only a game back of the 4th seed. And they play the Knicks again tomorrow. So it's going to be – they're doing just enough to stay in it. And hopefully we should be getting another update on Joe relatively soon. And we'll see what happens with that. But they're kind of just hanging around. They're very easily could fall down and very easily could jump up. So every game is magnified now. But I would imagine and expect we should be getting something. It's been about 6 weeks, I think, 7 weeks since Joe's surgery, so we should be getting, believe it was the end of January, so we should be hopefully getting an update soon. But 79-73, and no, that was not a misprint. They took it all the way back to the old school. All right, Flyers news, and John Tortorella did get suspended 2 games and fined $50,000 for his tirade on the officials the other night, and then deciding not to leave the bench. Prior to the suspension and the fine, CEO Dan Hilferty said, "I will pay any fines for John Tortorella." And basically, I love this because it's kind of setting a tone from top to bottom that, listen, we're not going to take shit anymore. We're not going to be walked over, and we're not going to be the laughing stock or whatever. Kind of going back to those old school ways. And I like that. I mean, and you see it on the with the coach. You see the players. They were all fired up for it too. You see it with Danny Briere and Keith Jones. So I like the direction that this Flyers team is heading. So John Tortorella is suspended 2 games. I would imagine that would start with tomorrow's game, but we'll have more on that tomorrow. But again, I love the fact that he was called them out on their BS. And I mean, the penalty minutes were completely skewed toward the Flyers. And so technically, I think he had a justifiable reason for the rant. Probably should have left, but hey, the team's going to pay the $50,000 fine. You missed 2 games, no harm, no foul. All right, Phillies news. Johan Rojas continues his struggles at the plate. He went 0 for 4, but did have an RBI. But I'm going to trust Kevin Long. He keeps saying he's happy with what he's seeing, so we'll go with it. Jake Cave went 2 for 5 in his battle with Christian Pache. Garrett Stubbs went 2 for 2 with an RBI. He's kind of quietly having a very good spring if you haven't been paying attention, but they continue to gear up for the season opener against the Braves in a couple weeks. Be sure to be on the lookout for the Phillies preview episode. Probably will do that at some point next week. That way it kind of leads in, or maybe even the end of this week. So stay tuned for that on Back to the Future with a PH. All right, while you're at it, go to phillygoat.com. Get your Phillies gear ready. I'm just, like I said, I think I've decided I'm getting 3 pairs of the shoes instead of 2. So go to Philly Goat, check out the canvas loafers, check out their wide selection of T-shirts, hoodies, and all that other good stuff. They got you covered. Go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery. All right, today we're going to go back to 2017, and on this day in 2017, the Villanova Wildcats beat the Creighton Blue Jays 74-60 to win the Big East Tournament. They, I guess you could say, avenged their loss from the year before to Seton Hall, but Josh Hart had 29 in this game. Jalen Brunson had 17 points and 5 assists. And this was the year that the Nova Wildcats were the defending national champions. They went 32-4 that year, 15-3 in the Big East. They were the number 1 overall seed in the entire tournament, so it had high expectations again. First round, they beat Mount St. Mary's before being upset by the Wisconsin Badgers. It was the second time in 3 years that they were bounced as a 1 seed by the 8 seed. But it was short-lived because the following year they would win the national title. But on this day in 2017, the Villanova Wildcats beat the Creighton Blue Jays 74-60, winning the Big East Tournament and heading into the NCAA Tournament as the number 1 overall seed. All right, speaking of those Nova Wildcats, it's time for our Bubble Watch. And as they're gearing up for the Big East Tournament, they are still hovering, according to Joey Brackets, on that last 4 in, first 4 out line. As of last evening, they were on the first 4 in. They were the last team in the tournament. I did not check it this morning. I'll follow up. We'll have an update at Bubble Watch tomorrow. But, I mean, they absolutely need to win a game, possibly 2. I think because obviously DePaul, they should have no problem with that. But then Marquette is going to be a tough one. But, I mean, if you want to get into the tournament, these are the games you got to win. So we'll have an update on Villanova tomorrow. And then the Tampa women are in action tonight against Tulane. They don't have a shot for an at-large bid, so they have to win the American tournament. But they open up against Tulane tonight at 9 o'clock, way past my bedtime. But looking forward to seeing that. And then finally today, we're going to stick with the women's college basketball theme. Oh, before I do that, that has been today's Bubble Watch. All right, and finally, we're going to stick with the women's college basketball theme. And today's Philly Sports Women's History Month Spotlight is Debbie Black. She is a Philadelphia native, went to Archbishop Wood, graduated from there. She is known as a basketball player as well as a coach. But after graduating from Wood, she went to St. Joe's and played for legendary Jim Foster. She led St. Joe's to 2 Big Five championships as well as an A-10 title. She was all A-10 as well her senior year. She also played field hockey and softball while at St. Joe's, and she was an All-American all A-10, in field hockey. She is St. Joe's all-time leader in steals, and she is second in assists. And what makes her very special, she's 5'2.25", I think it was. So she's smaller than what Muggsy Bogues was when he played, but she's just a scrappy, good defender. They called her, I think it was Pest was her nickname. But after graduating from St. Joe's, she went to Australia to play professionally, where she won 2 titles while playing over there. Then she played 2 years in the ABL, which was the precursor to the WNBA. She was an all-star there, messed around and had a quadruple-double in a game. And then she was drafted number 15 overall in the WNBA 1999 draft. She won Defensive Player of the Year at 35 years old. Just amazing. And then after she retired, she went into coaching. She was an assistant with Foster at Vanderbilt and Ohio State before being the head coach at Eastern Illinois. She is in the St. Joe's Sports Hall of Fame, the Big Five Hall of Fame, the St. Joe's Basketball Hall of Fame, the Bucks County chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, as well as the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. Debbie Black, one of the best to ever do it in this area. Succeeded at every level she played at, whether it was St. Joe's, in Australia, the ABL, the WNBA. Just a fierce competitor despite being 5'2". And again, one of the best to ever do it. So today's Philly Sports Women's History Month Spotlight is Debbie Black, basketball player from St. Joe's, Archbishop Wood, and legend in women's basketball. On this day in 2017, the Villanova Wildcats beat the Creighton Blue Jays 74-60 to win the Big East Tournament. We'll have Eagles updates, Phillies updates. We'll have our Bubble Watch tomorrow. Be sure to hit up the voice and text line 267-495-8531. Get your thoughts in. Is Fletcher Cox a Hall of Famer? Share your favorite Fletcher Cox memory. Was it one of his touchdowns? Was it a sack? He technically put the pressure on Tom Brady on the Hail Mary at the end of the Super Bowl. Just let me know your favorite Fletcher Cox memory, as well as is he a Hall of Famer? 267-495-8531. Get you in. Hopefully we have some good news from Howie Roseman tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But go have yourself some Monday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.